Friends, Chris Williams here as we are tipping off our coverage for the Iowa State-Oklahoma State game coming up tomorrow. We did have a Corner 3 podcast where Brent Bloom and I talked in depth about this game. You can listen to that on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network. Jared Stansberry, if you're more the reading type, has his 3-point preview that is already up at CycloneFanatic.com. Our presenting sponsor, the Iowa Events Center. We thank them for bringing you all of our hoops tip-off shows here in the Big 12 season. Oklahoma State, listen, this is going to be a very different game compared to what Iowa State saw against Texas on Tuesday night. You have the best defense that Iowa State has seen all year, bar none. You look at Oklahoma State, number 8 right now, KenPom defensive efficiency, comparing that to Iowa State that is number 6. So this is a game, in my mind, no matter how it goes, this game's in the low 60s, upper 50s. Crazy talk makes it in the 70s. So what does that mean? Well, free throws come into play in games like that. Turnovers come into play as there's very limited possessions. You're going to see more turnovers than normal. Iowa State's going to see more ball pressure than it has seen. I think it's a big game for the front court, with Robert Jones and Osunniyi, Trey King. Man, I'm stumbling all over the place today. Really good couple of bigs defensively down low for Oklahoma State. I'm torn here. As I told Bloom on the lengthy podcast yesterday, I think Iowa State's better than Oklahoma State. I do. I think they're a better basketball team. What scares you is these Big 12 road games, right? They're tough. And look at what Oklahoma State did now. Here's a win at home on the 7th. They beat Kansas at home, and it was 56-46. So really gross tight kind of basketball. Think about Iowa State last year. That's the type of game Iowa State will have to win in order to win this one. I think they're the better team. I do think that this team is due for an offensive regression at some point. My gut kind of tells me that it'll be tomorrow, but I'm not going to pick against a hot hand. I always tell you guys, I think if it's 50-50, I'm going to take the Cyclones. This is as close as a 50-50 game as you are ever going to get. The line is not out at the time I'm recording this. I'm guessing Iowa State will be right around a pick 'em to a 1-point favorite, but this is a total toss-up. Give me the Cyclones 59-58. Well, how about that? We'll put it in the 50s. We'll kick it old school like last year for a little bit. Don't feel great about this. I think it's a toss-up. Should be a fun one. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Iowa Event Center for their sponsorship. And we'll be back with all of our post-game coverage coming up tomorrow.